And hello again, YouTube. It is Friday afternoon, day before my birthday, 3:20 p.m. Friday, August 5th, 2022, and I just got off the Route 60. And if you watched the last video, you saw that that transfer went really fast. Where are you going, dude? I got the right of way. I'm gonna crosswalk. Yeah, people turning right, man. They don't look at the crosswalks very often. And one of these days, I'm probably going to get plowed over by somebody like that. But either A, I'm gonna be put out of my misery, and I'm generally speaking kind of sick of my misery these days, or B, I'm going to get me a fat check. One or the other. One or the other. Yeah, I wish. More likely than not, it's going to be a hit and run like the last time a car hit me while I was walking down the sidewalk. But anyway, so almost to Bullocks. It's a super short walk. I just wanted to kind of talk about what happened with what happened with the 60 bus, because that was kind of interesting. Now I'm not sure how late it was when I transferred to it. I didn't look at that. I was just looking at the part of the bus app to see like where it was. It's like, oh, it's right, literally right behind us. I need to, and realize that I needed to get off there at 18th Street, because if I waited and got off at 16th Street, I'd been having to walk across the street as a stop. At 16th, the 50 stops across 16th Street, and I would have to walk across 16th Street and then walk north to the bus stop. And in that amount of time, it's entirely possible that the 60 could have left without me. So yeah, had I not like been paying attention to the bus app, I would have definitely missed that transfer. But it worked out well at 18th, as far as me getting on the next bus. But what happened after that? Oh man! So for those unfamiliar, Valley Metro uses the same fare boxes in their bus. Like they just keep, they don't have new fare boxes. They've got newer buses, but they keep using the old fare boxes. They take out of the old buses and put them in the new buses. And the fare boxes, I'm reasonably sure they're like from the late 1990s. Now they've had a couple minor upgrades to them, most notably a touch sensor that I believe could probably process like the touch feature of credit cards, but it's not used for that. It's only used for a specific type of bus pass, where you tap it versus swiping it. Now I've never had one of these bus passes. Priscilla had one for quite some time that she got through one of the places that was giving her services for the blind. And that's something I don't mention very often. Priscilla is legally blind. I don't know. And maybe maybe she shouldn't be driving. She does drive. That's a whole nother struggle. And maybe I'm not sympathetic and understanding enough of that. But there's just so many other things that she does that frustrates me. That's just like, it's better than blind people that have enough sight to function, and they clean up after themselves. Anyway, and it's kind of my feeling is that if she can drive to spend the night with other people, and she can drive to the bars in my neighborhood, she can drive here. I don't care if it is farther, whatever. It's still, driving is driving is driving. Either you can drive or you can't drive. End of discussion, full stop. And if being on the freeway makes you comfortable, use surface streets, go slow. I mean, there's times when my cars are having issues, and I will back road it all the way from here to home. Go across obviously I cross the freeway, but take 23rd to take 23rd down to oh gosh, the route's just not coming together in my head. But I mean, between every major milestone, most of the half-mile streets are back roads that are like 2-3 lanes, and they go through. And you can drive a nice leisurely 30 miles per hour and not have to worry about being on scary roads or scary freeways if your vision is less than perfect, or if your vehicle is not running so great, or if you just don't feel like driving so damn fast like the maniacs drive on Phoenix roads and on Phoenix freeways. It's an option. Anyway, I really want to get in the bar, get my tacos, get some air conditioning. It's hot out here. And I'll talk more about the bullshit that's happening right now and yesterday and last night with Priscilla. There's some good, there's some bad, there's some ugly. But It is what it is. And no, I'm not perfect. In fact, I'm being exceptionally demanding right now. But I kind of look at it this way. I'm in a position to be exceptionally demanding because I hold the keys, and she's homeless. So, you know, either in my home you follow my rules, however extreme they are, or you get the fuck out. Simple as that. Simple as that. You don't like my rules? Go to the local homeless shelter and see how you like their rules. Anyway, as for the bus, so if you look in the last video, you see there was a young guy sitting at the bus stop there at 18th Street who was also waiting for the 60, and I know he was waiting for the 60 because he didn't look like a stinky homeless person, and he didn't get on the 50 when I got off the 50. So sure enough, he gets on the 60, and he gets, you know, he was there first. I go ahead and let him board before me, and he had a brand new 31-day pass or 30-day pass. I'm not sure. Oh, and of course mine is so faded you can't see it. I think they're good. You know, you think I would know this. I think they're good for 31 days, actually. So they'll last you a whole month, or, you know, maybe a whole month and a couple extra days if that month happens to be February. Anyway, dang, I wish my Benz was this nice. That's a nice Benz. Anyway, he swipes us in, and it's been a while since I've seen it happen, but it's not unusual for so on the fare boxes. I don't think I've really featured them in my videos, because usually by the time I'm getting there, I'm shutting off the phone. And I've had some drivers get real uptight if I'm shooting video inside the bus, which is crazy because there's signs up there that says surveillance video is being shot on this bus. Smile, you're on camera. So I'll see what their problem is with cameras. And it's also a public space, so I'm sure it falls under the Supreme Court decisions that filming in a public space is legal and protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Anyway, I digress. So the fare boxes, they've got a tap sensor, which I mentioned, which works on certain kind of passes. It's very rare for anybody to ride the local bus to be using those. You can't buy those. You can only get those through agency, like government agency issues. Now, most people that ride the I-10 West Rapid with me do use those, and it's because most of those people work for government offices and they get issued those passes through their employers. So I'm the odd man out using a swiping pass and then having to pay an additional 225 pennies in exact change, please. To ride that bus. Most people just do the tap thing. But yeah, when I mentioned the tap sensor to the driver that was on the 60, she was like, wait, what? I was just like, oh yeah, I've seen that a couple times. I'm like, yeah, probably only a couple times, because you drive a local bus, and generally speaking, the only people that use those on local buses are the blind, and blind people quickly find out that this is a very hostile bus system for blind people, because of how poorly located all the stops are, and seriously, like, I've had times where the bus has just driven by me because I wasn't up doing the funky chicken and waving a light at them to let them know I wanted them to stop, and they just assumed since I was sitting there I was a homeless person. And sometimes that's happened because I couldn't really see the bus coming, because my vision is not the greatest. It's not terrible, but it's well, yeah, actually kind of is terrible. But anyway, a lot of times I can't, at a distance, I can't tell. I can tell there's a vehicle coming, but I can't tell if it's a truck or a bus. And damned if I'm getting up and doing the funky chicken for every large vehicle coming down a Phoenix Road. Anyway, yeah, for a blind person, they're sitting there. Now there is a thing, like when the bus stops, there's a voice that plays outside the bus, and I'm sure I've captured it in several of my videos, that will say what the bus route, you know, and it's for the visually disabled. It'll say what the bus route is and where it's going. Route, like on the one I'm getting on here, you can probably say something along the lines of Route 60 westbound, service to 43rd Avenue. So the blind person knows when the bus pulls up, say if they're waiting at the stop I was waiting at, they know whether it's a Route 60 or a Route 50 and how far it's going down the route. As I've explained many times, not every bus goes the full length of the route. Route 60, no exception to that. Some of them only go to 43rd Avenue, some of them go further west. I'm not sure how much further west is. I've never gone farther west than, actually, you know what, I think I went to 51st. I actually got on at 51st Avenue one time. on the Route 60. But yeah, generally speaking, I don't go any farther west than 27th Avenue. That's just kind of where the things in my world end, up here. This here bar, and I am quite fond of the Burger King over there. Can you see it? It's Burger King off in the distance. Anyway, so we get on the bus, and the young guy. I was trying to explain on the fare boxes. You've got the touch sensor, and then you've got a slot, a printer slot. So if you have a bus pass that hasn't been activated, that you slide it into that. Now the bus pass will already be hard coded on the magnetic strip, saying what kind of bus pass it is, whether it's a one ride. Well, actually, I don't think they do one ride passes on cards, but whether it's a day pass, which is good until the end of the service day, or whether it's a 7-day pass, or whether it's a 31-day pass. And it'll also code as to whether it's a full fare pass or a reduced fare pass. Mine's a reduced fare pass. I don't know, there's enough printing left on the thing to really identify it, other than it's can you kind of tell there's some orange there with the black? No, I can't either. But anyway, mine's reduced rate, because I am legally disabled, because I have severe mental illness, in case you hadn't noticed. So anyway, yeah, so that stuff's already on it, but until it says, you know, what kind of pass it is and how long it's good for, but you have to put it into that activation slot to activate it, and that's when it prints the expiration date on it, which is in the video where I had a guy trying to boot me off, because and to be fair, it wasn't clearly visible. You got to kind of strain your eyes to see it, but if I catch it in the light right, you can kind of see it does say August 14, 22. But yeah, that slot, it writes on the magnetic strip what the expiration date is, you know, based on what kind of pass it is when it's starting, and then it does a physical print on the card of the expiration date, so that the drivers can look at it, or, you know, the security assholes on the train can look at it and see, hey, what, you know, is this pass still valid? Anyway, and then there's also just a regular like card slot where you just simply slide it across the top of the fare box, which I think were added later. It used to be everybody used the slot, and the slot where you push it in, and that was causing excessive wear and tear to those, and they started malfunctioning. It's back when those fare boxes were first installed in like the 1990s. Anyway, yeah, always use the slider, because I've seen all too many times people put their card in the slot and the slot eats it and doesn't give it back. And it's not unusual to get on a bus. In fact, I had a ride where it was like one of the times when I brought my car to Rob for the weekend for him to work on the air conditioning, and in fact I think that was the night of Priscilla's birthday. In fact, it was the night of Priscilla's birthday party that she didn't give me notice about or invite me to. Am I ever going to get over that? No, I'm probably not. I'm still, it's a month and a half later, I'm still quite pissed about it. Well, there goes another Route 60. So either that one's running earlier, or the one I was on was really that late, because it's only been 13 minutes and those are supposed to be at 30-minute intervals. I believe the one I was on was really that late, because I mean, like a 60 would never be early. Anyway, so yeah, that particular night, when I didn't know she was having her birthday party, because she didn't tell me about it and didn't invite me to it, and I decided I was going to go to join my friend Raul, who I haven't heard from since, at somebody else's birthday party. He was convinced that was somebody I knew, and it turns out it was not somebody I knew, at Old Brass Rail. And when I got on the Route 29 bus to head westbound from 44th Street over to from 44th Street to 38th Street, which is a walkable distance, but you know, whatever. There's the bus. I'm gonna take it. I'm an old man and I'm sick of walking. So yeah, that was a brand new bus pass. It needed activated, but the driver had a piece of tape over that slot, and I see that often, where it's like, oh yeah, it's not working, just, you know, go ahead and get, I see you have an unactivated pass, just go ahead and get on the bus. That's a pretty common thing. because this thing's malfunctioned. Well, anyway, this guy had his brand new 31-day pass, shoved it in the hole, and sure as shit, it got stuck. And I'm standing there behind him, like wanting to get on, and I realize what's going on, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this happen before. And I just like kind of politely slid around to the side and stood behind him where I can at least get some air conditioning on me because it's hot out. And I have my bus pass out, and I'm waiting, hoping that I can get it out. But yeah, it ended up being quite an ordeal. I couldn't believe that the driver told him, we'll keep trying to get it out and I'm going to drive, and had him standing there by the fare box as she was driving down Camelback. Yeah, had she told that to me, I'd have been like, no ma'am, this is not a safe place for me to stand while you're driving. I don't think so. But yeah, that's what she told the guy to do. I was honestly thinking about shooting video at that point, but I didn't want to escalate an already awkward situation. But yeah, she insisted on driving with him standing there, not even able to hold on to bars to stabilize himself in case something happened and she had to slam on the brakes or somebody, you know, hit the bus. People drive like maniacs in that area, and in most of the city for that matter. I mean, it's a stroke driving thing. It's just what it is. But yeah, so she had him standing there, both his hands trying to fish this card out of this machine where he's like trying to pry it out with his keys and stuff. Like, really? Bus passengers shouldn't have to do that. But the kid's doing his best to try to get it out because that's a 31-day pass. Like, that's basically a you know, $40, depending on, I'm rough. I don't know the exact amount. I get mine for free through a program, lucky me. But I'm gonna say probably a $40 piece of plastic for that kid. On that note, I will try to remember to put in the description what the Valley Metro fare cards actually cost, or maybe a link to the Valley Metro website where they have a chart that shows what it is. But a 31-day pass, even a disabled and student one, is not cheap. Now, there's a lot of programs where a person can get one for free through their, you know, through schools and through clinics. I get mine through the mental health clinic, through oh God, I'm forgetting the name of it now. It used to be called Value Options, used to be called Magellan, used to be called ComCare. I forget what the fuck it's called now. I wish they'd quit changing names. That is a real struggle for me mentally when things keep changing names. Anyway, yeah, so, but anyway, that's, even if you got it through a program, one thing I've definitely learned through the program is if I lose mine, I don't get another one for 30 days. 31 days. So yeah, if I lost it the first day, even if I didn't pay for that one, I'm gonna have to pay to replace it out of my pocket. So yeah, it's a lot of money. So I mean, I get the kid trying to fish it out, but it's sad that he should be put in a situation where he's having to fish it out while this driver is driving in heavy traffic. Not cool. So we get up to 16th Street. Quite a few other people get on the bus. Now she just waves them through. By this point, like, when she's in motion, I just sat down. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not standing up in an unsafe area. I'll sit down. Hopefully she saw I had a bus pass out and deal with it when I get there, you know, when she's ready to deal with it. Well, anyway, she ended up having to, she stopped there. We waited for a while at 18th Street. Waited for a while at 18th Street while he's trying to get the bus pass out. Finally get going. Waited for a while at 16th Street where where again, he's still trying to fish his bus pass out. She waves the other people. There was probably like 4 or 5 people that got on there at 16th Street. You know, is it by the CVS, the Route 60 makes a right turn. And there's one guy that came on and just wanted to know, hey, you know, is this the bus that goes all the way up 16th Street? No, this is the one that just goes a mile up 16th Street and turns it left. That's why it says Bethany Home on it. Anyway, to be fair, it's hard for people that aren't from here to know where all the buses are. And I definitely was able to identify with that when I was riding buses in Portland, where I'd see buses, I'm like, I wonder where this goes. I'd hop on the bus thinking I'm going down the street, and 2 blocks down the road, it'd make a turn. I'm like, oh, I wonder where I'm going. Of course, I was not trying to get anywhere. I was just exploring, so it was fun for me. But yeah, somebody actually trying to get somewhere, especially if that somewhere is work and they have to be there at a specific time, I feel his pain, and not knowing it is what it is. But anyway, driver was real helpful with him and told him where he was going. So, you know, it's like, nope, this is not your bus. So he got off, and I think the 16 was probably coming right behind us. No big deal. But anyway, yeah, we keep going, and she finally is like, you know, takes off again, and of course, all the people that just got on the 16 are getting frustrated because we probably sat there for like 5-6 minutes while she's trying to, you know, while he's trying to fish his bus pass out of the broken slot, and she finally gets on her little phone, like it's like an old-fashioned like analog phone handset, like from a payphone, but I guess that's how the radio system is set up. I don't see the drivers use it very often, so it's kind of odd seeing it, but I did hear her call out with her, you know, with her bus number, which, you know, you can see the bus number above from the inside, it's up towards the front on the right. I've captured it in many of my videos, and it's like, yeah, this is bus number blah 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 having an issue, you know. So anyway, she said that, and she said what the problem was, and I couldn't hear the people on the other end of the phone, but apparently they told her what she needed to do to reset. Was, of course, she had to stop again and do this. You know, she couldn't do this while she was driving, but she had some way of completely resetting the fare box. It involved shutting it off, and basically had to reboot the damn thing. And then it did spit out the kid's card, and wouldn't you know it, like the next person that put a card in that slot, and you think she'd have told them, hey, don't put a card in that slot, but no. After she told me that she's never seen that happen, I'm like, oh, I've seen that happen many times. And she's like, oh, I've never seen that happen before. And then sure as fuck, like next person that used that card slot, their card got locked too. At least at that point, she knew the trick to get it out. So, you know, I mean, she did the thing, and was able to reset it and get it to spit it out pretty quickly. So, you know, props to the driver for at least learning new skills and knowing when to use them quickly. And she did say right after that, she's like, screw this, I'm putting a piece of tape over that. I'm not messing with this anymore. Which, you know, yeah, I often see a piece of tape put over that and drivers saying, hey, don't use this, broke. So another one broke. Another interesting Valley Metro moment on that particular bus. What do you call it? There was a woman at one point that came up and started asking the driver questions, and you know, and that's something I think bus drivers should be more familiar with the city that they drive in, with major attractions and places in the drive-in, and with the system in general. They should be knowledgeable of the entire transit system, not just the route that they're on. And at the very least, they should be very knowledgeable of all routes that transfer from the route they're on, and where those transfers take place, and how to go about doing those transfers so they can tell passengers, and also of major landmarks along it. But yeah, we're on the 60, and the woman asked her where Christown Mall was. Actually, she actually called it Christown Spectrum Mall. I just refused to call it Christown Spectrum Mall. That's fucking Christown Mall. Spectrum should never be part of its name, should have never been part of its name. Fuck the developer that thought they should change the name of a long-term landmark. I don't like landmarks changing names. I don't like anything changing names. Christown Mall. So anyway, she asked where Christown Spectrum Mall was, and the bus driver said she had no idea. She had no idea, she wasn't from around here. You're driving the Route 60 mall bus and you don't know where Christown Mall is? That is like one of the major, probably the largest attraction on the Route 60. Damn. And then she was asking, well, where do I transfer to the light rail? Which is actually two different things. Like if somebody is on the 60 and wants to go to the mall, if they're wanting to go to Walmart, they should get off at 15th Avenue. If they're wanting to just simply go to the mall, their best bet is to get off at 17th Avenue. If they're wanting to go to the Ross or things at that end of the mall, then they want to get off at 19th Avenue. Although it's debatable as to whether it's better to just get off at 17th Avenue and walk and not have to deal with the long traffic light to get across 19th Avenue. But if they want to transfer to the light rail, then they need to stay on board until they get to the Montebello Transit Center, which is functionally the Christown Transit Center, and also where you would want to get off if you're going to Target. There's also a Target there at Christown Mall. Anyway, this woman didn't know this stuff, and she's just like, the one woman keeps asking questions, and the driver's like, well, I don't know, and I just said to I said, you know, you'd be better off if you asked a Phoenix native like myself those questions. and she just looked at me and ignored me, and then walked back to her seat. At one point though, I did tell her that, you know, I just kind of spit out the answer, which I just said, you know, hey, the mall is Christown Mall is located between Christown Mall pretty much takes up all the space between Bethany Home Road and Montebello Street, between 15th Avenue and 19th Avenue. If you're wanting to go to the mall, you can either get off at 15th Avenue, 17th Avenue, or 19th Avenue. 17th Avenue gets you closest to the main entrance of the mall. If you're looking to get to the light rail, you want to stay a little bit farther. There's a transit center, but it's on the other side of the mall, Montebello Transit Center. That's where you transfer to the train. And she's like, oh, okay, thank you. But then when we got to 19th Avenue, she was freaking out at the driver because she wanted to get off there. I hope she enjoyed her long, hot walk from Bethany to Montebello. Anyway, wow, I can't believe I've wasted 24 minutes on this when I could be inside drinking beer and eating tacos. So thanks for listening to my random bullshit. I just want to get that story out. Talk about something other than my disastrous relationship with my girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, or yeah, you know, my squatter problem. Yeah, there's other things, and when I'm riding the bus, it's always interesting to see all the dysfunctions of our lovely public transit system here in Phoenix.